Hi, everyone. This is Maury. I started Buffalo Academy, Enterprise Risk Management Academy, and Animated Tutors, and many programs in those companies. Most important thing is that all these programs that Buffalo Academy has for college students, they all got started by our students asking for them. And all I did was put the resources together and create a program where my students could be successful.
Hi, my name's Ashley, and I work for Buffalo Academy.
Hi, I'm Miles, and I worked as a motion designer with Buffalo Academy.
Hey, my name's Greg. I'm one of the animators on the animated series for statistics.
Hello. At Buffalo Academy, I am an animator and storyteller. I work with Maury's animation team to create the statistics animated course.
Hello, my name is Ali Molina. I work for Buffalo Academy as an animator.
Hi, my name is Bryce Manubai. I hold a Bachelor's of Science in Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering from the University of Maryland at College Park, as well as a Master's of Science in Chemical and Biological Engineering from the University of Colorado Boulder. Additionally, I've been working as a STEM tutor with Buffalo Academy for pretty close to a decade now.
Hello, my name is Matthew Kane, and I'm a junior at the University of Colorado Boulder, and I've been working with Buffalo Academy for the past 2 years.
Hi, I'm Sebastian. I go to CU Boulder. I'm currently taking an introductory statistics course, and I've been using Buffalo Academy's anime tutors to help me review and kind of just learn stuff I need to know for the course, including stuff like our programming.
When I started Buffalo Academy, I learned that many students prefer audiovisual learning tools to reading text. And fortunately, I had gone back to school a few years earlier, got, got the training in multimedia arts, including animations, digital animations, and illustrations. And I put a team of animators, illustrators, sound technicians, storytellers um, together, where we created animated textbooks, what I call them, hyperbooks, etch books. And the idea is that we're changing all the textbooks into fully animated cartoon series where there are fun, easy, quick ways of learning the most difficult, the most complex courses. We have finished a course, an introductory course to statistics that really a lot of students trip on. And it's just awesome. I have students who just watch these cartoons and they comprehend and they return the material more than they ever have. And they all ace their exams. So these animated series are just a revolution in education. And we're working on algebra and we're working on pre-calculus, econ, physics, chemistry. So we are going to put out majority of courses that a lot of students have a difficult time with.
And right out of the gate, when I first met Maury, I knew we'd instantly get along. He understands distraction, attention, and fun really, really well. And he has the eye and the mind to totally diagnose and see ADHD and any of those people that learn visually, like myself included. Ironically, he's built a really good team of animators, but specifically animators and artists who struggle with or have struggled with ADHD or non-traditional learning mechanisms like visual learning, and building his team around the demographic that this series focuses on really shows itself in the work, because I feel like everything we've made serves its purpose.
Maury and I work together in turning ideas into motion. He essentially plays the role of a supervisor because he gives me ideas to work with and deliver animations that meet his vision. The types of animation I've created, which have been whimsical, comical, and snappy, are all to keep the students engaged. Kids with ADHD means they are to learn in an accommodating manner. They rely on visual communication, and that's why I believe creating animation is their best form of guidance. I ensure clarity and interactivity through my work so that students with ADHD can learn sufficiently.
As an animator working alongside with others in Buffalo Academy, we make sure that the videos are visually compelling but also easy to follow along and digest for any sort of information in the subject that any student wants to learn.
Basically, breaking down the information into very clear visual steps so students can actually see how something is worked instead of just reading about it.
Every video installment of the series includes a Python and R coding supplement for students to learn from interactively. Each supplement walks students through using modern software tools to better understand topics ranging from random variables to simulating probabilities to running different kinds of hypotheses tests.
And each lesson, we take pride in making sure that each visual is a little bit different from the other, have its own sort to grab the attention of the student to follow along without boring them. Because the last thing we need is just simple repetition of the same movements or visuals that are like always expected. That's the exact opposite that we're going for. Instead, with these visuals, we always make sure that something new is happening, either like a small cartoon or something like unexpected that will help grab their attention for especially for those who have bad like attention span.
The objective of teaching and tutoring is to make learning as fun and easy to absorb. And while reading a textbook and listening to lectures work for some, it doesn't always work for every student. So instead, Buffalo Academy presents information very visually and paces it intentionally, which helps students really stay engaged and focused rather than confused and discouraged when reading.
One of the most important things to me about the product that we support is its ability to truly help students. Many students nowadays get stuck in the traditional curriculum of stagnant textbooks, but that's not always how everyone learns. A lot of people learn better through audiovisual formatting, like students with ADHD or students who just prefer that method. That's why I'm passionate about the products that we support, because it helps those students. It helps them learn, it helps them grow and succeed in ways that wasn't achievable.
I was recently seeing how two previous ADHD program alumni were doing after a few years, and both had graduated and started roles in their respective fields. One of them graduated, I think, maybe 3 or 4 years ago with a Bachelor's of Science in Economics with a 3.5 GPA average, and is currently working in asset finance as an account manager. The other one that I caught up with graduated with a bachelor's in aerospace engineering and works at Ball Aerospace here in Boulder. Um, One of the things that we really focus on is not just giving our students the necessary tools to succeed academically, but also to take full ownership over the trajectory of their lives and to do it really well.
Coming into college, I thought I was going to do just as well as I did in high school. And after my freshman semester, I learned that wasn't the case. I ended with pretty bad grades and was not happy with the way my college has already started. This led me to search for the right tutor that was going to work for me and that my parents also loved to work with. This is when I ran into Maury and had multiple meetings with him and got a great game plan for what I was going to do for the rest of my college course.
We started ADHD program because one of our students had a need for it. And I looked around and I had some other students who had an ADHD coach in high school. So I contacted her and I hired her. She started working for me. She worked for about 2.5 months before she came up to my office, and she told me that she was bored out of her mind. And she explained that she only helped high school students and never got to see what happens to the ones of them who make it to college. And now she had an opportunity to see that. And she told me that the kids with ADHD who made it to college, they didn't have a severe case of it. All they needed was discipline and also to show them how to relax, just get rid of their panic attacks, anxiety, reduce the stress. I decided to tackle the discipline problem with project management. It's project management is something that corporations use to make sure the project they start ends up successfully. My wife was a global implementation project manager, so who better than her to help me set up this part? So we did that, and then I called a doctor who had helped me for many years to reduce stress, anxiety, all that. And I asked him to join the academy and to teach. And my students, the same things he taught me. He laughed and he said that he had retired and now I was a master. He had shown me everything that he knew. So that's how ADHD program got started. And I'm glad to say that all that it requires is motivation from the student himself.
When I first heard about this project, it really spoke to me as I'm also someone who experienced like struggles in typical academic setting with my ADHD, especially in my pre-calculus math class in high school. I just always felt like, what's wrong with me? Why am I studying like 6 hours for every quiz, every test, and still barely scraping by with the C or D? It was really frustrating for me when I was still in schooling. So to be given the opportunity to help make a visually engaging alternative for students with like a different learning style was really exciting to be a part of.
I myself have ADD, which is another form of ADHD, and it's actually funny because in animating these shorts for this series, I actually didn't expect myself to learn statistics, but through Maury's guidance of just like having the vision, sharing the vision, and then us executing it, and then outputting that visual learning like material, I actually ended up learning from it, and I was like, I totally understand this. This is in my language.
There has been extensive research by the National Institutes of Health and the United States Department of Education, along with feedback from my own students, showing how many learners comprehend and retain information much better when it's presented in a video format.
With him in calculus, my first semester of my first semester of my sophomore year, I knew that he was the right guy. Going into my second semester of my sophomore year, I was taking a stats course that I knew was going to be very challenging and knew that I need Maury to help me with. This is when he introduced me to his animated tutor courses that he had. They were the best thing possible. Quick, easy, and very fun and interactive courses that helped teach me the content that I needed for the rest of the class. From starting from week one into the last week of school, I learned everything just as well and probably better than majority of the students in my course. I knew that these were going to be animations that would not only help me, but other people that would like to look at them. I'm so happy with the help that Maury has provided me, and I know that it will forever change my college career and for years to go on.
I recommend people use these animated tutors. I think they are really helpful in helping me just revise and learn stuff that wasn't taught in the class or lectures, or I just haven't had the time to review. They're really cheap, and I think they help a lot.
What makes this tutoring experience especially meaningful is knowing that these animations help support students who learn differently. Many of the students Buffalo Academy work with actually have ADHD or some kind of learning disability. And I believe these animation lessons fit very naturally into how these types of students learn. They make complex topics that they are trying to understand feel a lot less stressful and way more achievable for them.
The language of visual learning is very underappreciated and kind of not snuffled, but hard to find. And I think that's because it's hard to teach that. It's hard to scale that, and it's hard to have the eye for that, because it's easy to write down something and it's easy to force somebody to read something, but it's hard to first imagine something that is describing something else and then also having fun be put in there to keep your attention, because the visual learning is not only attention that you're tackling, but it's also clarity.
Animations make learning fun, uplifting, quick, accessible, and especially in a world nowadays where accessibility should be the #1 priority.
I know how much something like this would have really helped me back when I was still in school, so I'm really proud of all the work that our team has done, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this can help future students with their future academic success.
I've noticed over the course of my teaching career that some students, especially those with attention disorders, tend to respond very, very well to visual learning tools. I currently have a student in the ADHD program who has struggled historically with STEM topics in general, but is absolutely thriving using our statistics animated series right now. He picks up the material super fast. He's no problem studying because the videos are short, they're fun, they're informative, and coupled with the coding supplements, it's very interactive.
These learning challenges stood in the way of succeeding. Um, to my surprise, when these guys got over their challenges, they proved to be some of the best students that I've ever seen in my college career.
That's why I'm so passionate about the work we do here at Buffalo Academy, because it's not just educational, it has the ability to change and help people for the better.
And that's why Buffalo's Academy's approach goes beyond traditional tutoring. They demonstrate how powerful animation can really be when it's not just used for entertainment and for fun, but as a tool to help people understand and feel a lot more confident in their ability to learn.
Because a picture tells 1,000 words, and we don't like reading. That's kind of the whole challenge of ADHD struggling people, is we want the picture to tell us 1,000 words, and there's not a lot of pictures out there, and so it really does take a village to bring these images forth. But I feel like we've done a really good job at that, and I love my team. Maury's a great visionary, I guess, like a leader. He's a great leader, yeah, great leader in this, and he's really steered this ship towards like the education platform that we're looking at, and I'm really proud of it, actually. I think we made some really good educational content, and yeah, I think it's a win for visual learners, a win for ADHD strugglers, and I'm really proud of it. Thanks.